Hello everyone, it is I, Robbie Ripoll, along with my loyal friend and apprentice, Jeremy Jones.
Hey guys.
We're here for episode 6 of the Brad Tattoo Academy tattoo tutorial show. So this time, my son Jaden had his best friend Jacob in town, and I did a butterfly tattoo on fire on his thigh. So I know I did partially stencil and partially Sharpie, and so we're just gonna kind of walk and talk through the thing as we do.
And for any new people joining us now, this podcast tutorial video is basically to supplement your tattoo education.
Yeah, Jeremy lives across the state. He's about 3 hours away, and he drives every week to come and do tat stuff. And in the process, he was looking for stuff on the internet to kind of supplement the learning that I was, teaching him in the shop. He found some cool stuff, but he wanted to try and fill the holes. I love helping people learn, getting different perspectives. This is about, it's for everyone from the young learning apprentice to the master in their craft that just wants to see how some other people might do things. So, just kind of take a look and enjoy. You might have some fun. You might learn something. You might think these guys are assholes. Either way, we're going to have a good time. So thanks for tuning in. And we're going to do this. Here we go, guys. Hey. Here's the tattoo. Where are we in reference to the tattoo on the screen?
So we're gonna be on the bottom right.
Bottom right. So check this tattoo out.
Check this tattoo out.
Check this tattoo out.
Check the tattoo out.
So as I was saying in the intro, we did part stencil and then part freehand. Flames have always been something that I really enjoy doing. So the more free-flowing I am with my tattooing, or any of my art, just the better it comes out, I feel like, in the end. So with this one, I just kind of scribbled some flames on, as you can see. And I like scribbling things because it gives me a nice loose foundation. And
what you did with a Sharpie.
Yeah, I did.
So if you guys are like, what do you use to freehand things, right?
Sharpies,
or they make these like purple little markers.
Yeah, the gentian violet markers.
Gentian?
Gentian. Yeah, gentian violet.
Gentian.
Or like a fucking regular ballpoint pen.
It's basically like a stencil in a marker form.
Yeah. Like last night, when I was working on George's arm, I started down here and then I drew some stuff up here with a pen because I wanted to throw it away. You know what I'm saying?
I did throw it away.
Yeah, and that was the point. So I'm quick lining a lot of things right here.
What are you lining with?
Speed lining, quick lining. I think that's a 3.
A tiny one if you're doing it quick.
Yeah, 3. Especially, for my speed lines, I typically do 3. And for the fact that I'm going into that antenna with that, I know it's a 3 because I wouldn't ever take one first pass at an antenna with like a 9 or a 14 or anything like that.
Really?
Yeah, because the antennae are delicate, right? So I always want to like have the thinnest point, like really be thin, and then if I need to build, I can build.
Okay, you can always make it thicker.
Right, exactly. But part of the stress relieving for me in tattooing is doing speed lining or quick lining.
Then you don't have to worry about your stencil fucking off.
Right, you don't have to worry about your stencil. You don't have to commit to any lines right away. Because a lot of the time, like we say all the time, it talks to me. But if I fucking start with definition and definitive measures, if I take definitive measures like lines that I'm not sure what they're supposed to look like, if I jump at those right away, now I'm like kicking myself. But like when I do these lines, I get to really like ghost in and create sketch type feelings and then build off of those. And so like if I don't want to use black, but I want to use like a blue concentrate or a purple concentrate off of that black line or that light gray line, boom. Now I have a guide, but I don't have a black line there. And I really like removing black lines from a lot of my stuff. I like to hold it together with contrast. blacks, deep tones, mid-tones, and a well balance of all the tones. I usually do 3 to 4 steps in my shading, and it's easy that way. Then I always know how my blends are gonna look, and my glows are always gonna feel the same way, and my blends are always gonna feel the same way. And sometimes I'll sit on my hand and fucking jerk off, to make it feel weird, So I'll do something different. That was a weird analogy.
We did that right before we started
But
filming.
I'll do something different to spice it up sometimes. In the way that I'll do like a certain shading pattern, or like instead of like making a glowy thing, I'll do like a fade of rainbow tones, or like a 4-part fade of like,
and it's easier
purple to pink to orange to yellow.
Easier to do like with more colors. Like if you have a color spectrum of orange, if you have 4 different shades of orange, it's a lot smoother than just dark orange to light orange.
Right, yeah. It 4 steps of 4 tones is way smoother than 2 tones.
Fuck yeah.
Unless you're the type of artist that knows how to do that, and I've seen dudes that do that, and their style lends to that. I just prefer to have a couple more steps.
Which is how you're teaching me, and I agree with that.
It's just, I feel like it's a little bit more idiot-proof.
There you go.
And it also is dimension improving. Like I said, unless you pull your dimensions out of because I like to do like dark tone whip, and then bold field of bright color, and then not anything else. And that's one of those things where I'll do that, I'm doing something different. But like usually the 3 to 4 steps is so good.
Why would you not do that? Some people don't. I know.
And it feels normal for them. For me, it doesn't feel normal to do that. So I went through the whole entire tattoo now, with just gray lines.
That was you just. Oh, were you using gray? You were not using.
Black.
As well.
Yeah, but when I say gray lines, I mean like I do them quick lines.
So he's using like a 12-3, which is like a
standard three liner.
3 little needles in the liner, and he's just running through it. So it's just like sketching on skin.
Absolutely. I don't bury the needle. I keep it on top of the skin rather than in the skin. You know what I'm saying?
You're not going slow and like trying to get.
You're going real fast. Like in real time, it's very smooth. And like you've watched it, it's super flowy and smooth. Like exactly. And when you do it, like it just feels so smooth and cool. I like to hang my needle. I like to hang my needle out a bit. I run at 10.5. When I hang the needle out that much, I hold my hand up higher and just kind of graze the skin real light.
It's not as much pressure.
Not a lot of pressure, a lot of speed.
Because pressure is in like, if I fuck this up, it's the end of the world. Because it's such a tiny, it's barely there. It's very easy to cover with anything.
And there's not a lot of pressure in the hand either.
In the hand too, yeah.
But you are, and that's part of the reason why I do it, to relieve the pressure of myself.
Yeah.
Because tattooing is stressful, guys. I know it. Like, we all live that shit, right? If you've had a tattoo or given a tattoo, it's stressful. So, the best we can do is keep it simple, stupid, and make it as easy as possible, as seamless as possible, and take the stress and pressure off of ourselves. So what I did here, I started going in with the blacks now, which it seems pretty definitive, right? But now that I didn't have to do those lines, I can go in with the blacks, and I'm like, I feel confident putting these black tones here. And now I didn't have to waste time running, a moderately slow outline when I'm just going to butt it up next to solid black end. Because in keeping it simple, I like to do things from black to dark tone to mid-tone to light tone to lighter tone to highlight. So it's fun to just keep it simple and allow your tones to do the talking for you rather than your lines to make it a certain way. It's funny when people have come up to me and said, for a guy that does new school, you don't use a lot of lines. I always laugh, and I feel like that's a fun compliment, because I found very line-heavy style where I remove a lot of the lines.
Yeah.
And I emphasize the lines that are meant to be there. I reduce the lines that aren't necessary, and then I remove the lines that don't need to be there at all.
You're not really like
I'm not super line heavy. No, I like you very like the way that Caleb did my back was bold lines and black, and I very seldom start a tattoo like that. If I'm doing it in one session, I will do that. But at the same time, I love when I Sharpie something on and then take 15 minutes to quick line the whole thing. And then start shading things. And then 2-3 hours into it, 4 or 5 hours into it, I can decide where the bold lines are going to go. Then I put those lines in, and now it's talking to me, and I'm putting the lines in the places that feel right when they feel right, rather than trying to put them when I'm supposed to put them.
I'm like a good
Sorry, that was a long rant, but I hope it made sense.
No, you're fine. As a person like just getting into tattooing, nothing is ever no two tattoos are ever the same.
Yeah,
like is what I gather like a lot.
Absolutely
nothing. You could be doing
same tattoo.
You could be doing a fucking butterfly on one girl, the same butterfly on another girl. Guess what? Her skin's going to be different. She's going to be a different client. Everything. There's so many nuances in
You
this.
could do the same butterfly in 2 different spots on the same person.
That's another thing. Yeah.
And it can be different.
You could do it on their forearm, then you could do it on their neck. It's just two.
Or their ribs. Or their belly. If you got a belly like mine, it's a tough belly to tattoo.
So there's a lot of nuances, and the easiest way. I've been tattooing for almost 3 months, and I've learned so fucking much. You learn by doing in this business, I feel like.
Well, and by taking imperfect action.
Yeah.
Fucking. The reason why the tattooing curriculum that I do is based on silhouette work at first. Solid black, tribal, bold black letters, simple stuff like that, is because now you can perfect your fundamentals of lining. Excuse me. Lining, thank you. Lining and then saturating. But you can also toy with whipping while you're saturating. You can also fuck up your lines and then fix them. So I keep it simple to start. That way, it's kind of cool. It's like Mr. Miyagi, wax on, wax off, and now you can block a punch. Like I taught him how to do solid blacks. And then I was like, hey, now when we do color blends today against your solid blacks, you're going to go 1, 2, 3 colors. And since he's been pouring my colors for months, now he understands the color spectrums and the way I think.
I started pouring his colors 8 months ago.
And how has that helped you?
Oh, tremendously, because now I'm like, you do it enough and then you know. That's literally it. Like
it's repetition.
It's just repetition, man. You fucking do anything.
And so I'm going through those... Sorry, we veered off from the tattoo, and I kind of got bored with the tattoo because I was doing the same thing. So now we've moved into going in with a 14-round liner and some red.
When you're hitting that 14-round liner, you're on 10.5, obviously.
10.5.
Are you trying?
And when he says 10.5, obviously, it's because I always run a 10.5.
Yeah, he's at 10.5, whether he's
for
shading,
any fucking thing.
packing color,
black and gray,
lining.
A solid white tattoo.
His machine is 10.5.
10.5 all the time. I adjust with my hand. My dad taught me work with shitty tools, and then when you have the good ones, imagine how good you'll be. And that kept me to where I work in a simple fashion all the time, because all my old shitty tools were simple, so I had to simplify everything.
But when you're hitting this 14,
yeah,
are you? Because me personally,
it's not a heavy slow line.
Because I go slow.
It's not a heavy slow line
14
because I'm building still.
You're still building.
You have to remember, I'm still building. So
and stretching the skin is very important.
Yes, it is. And sometimes I don't stretch the skin that much because I don't want it to take as much.
That's true.
You know what I'm saying?
See how there's no rules there.
Yeah, dude, and I fucking break all the rules,
goddamn. No rules to any of this
I break
shit.
all the rules. So, like, when it comes to speed lining, sometimes I'll just fucking sit there and blah, 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 because I know if I don't hold it tight...
It doesn't make sense, dude.
Yeah, if I don't hold it tight, it's not going to fucking take as hard.
If you don't stretch the skin, it's just going to barely be
yes.
That makes sense.
So, the whole enchilada, I think it was a Brandon Bond video that he put out mad years ago. He said one thing to me in that set. I say he said it to me. I was watching on a fucking video. as he says it on the video, he's like, I'm sitting here and I'm not even giving a shit over here. I'm drinking a beer with the other hand and this and that. So I was like to hear him be so free-spirited about it, I was like, So I thought about it. And then I played with it.
Don't take it so seriously.
Don't take it so seriously. Dude, I was bloodlining and speedlining 20 years ago. But people were telling me I couldn't do that. So I didn't. You know what I'm saying? So but then I did. And then that was the thing. I stopped talking about it. When I got told I couldn't do that stuff anymore by enough tattooers or enough clients, I just stopped talking about it. I just kept doing the things I wanted to do anyway. And then to name Whitfield, an artist I really looked up to for a while, he's still a phenomenal artist. One of my friends took his seminar and told me how he Sharpied the whole thing on and then speedlined the whole entire tattoo. And I was like, Eureka! I'm allowed to do this! And it was super wild to get that permission from an artist you really look up to.
That's a stencil.
Right. And that's it.
You're creating a stencil when you speedline.
Right. And when you're Sharpie, you're creating guidelines to create that stencil. But sometimes you've seen me, I've Sharpied, and even on you. I'll Sharpie and be able to just fucking hammer in a solid straight line.
Because you know it's gonna, it talks to you.
The chains, we knew those were gonna be solid straight lines. So we went into those chains.
I like those chains.
And they're black and white, that's
chains.
It. Black and whipped white.
Yeah.
I mean, whipped black and then white on top of it. So and throwing the white on top, it kind of graded out in certain areas. But I knew those lines were gonna be solid black in the certain areas, so I put them in. But I still even speedlined my thing. I think I speedlined that whole piece because it was all sharp.
I believe that's episode 1.
Oh yeah.
If you want to go look at it, what we're talking about.
Look at that! Wow, that's so cool. We can look back and talk that.
Episode 1.
Yeah, so you get to see how I put together that tattoo. But yeah, so now let's go back to Jacob's thigh over here. So we're putting in some mid-tones for the reds. So if I don't know if I want to go like full dark blood clot, I'll go vampire red. So with my red spectrum, I do blood clot from Starbright, vampire red from Starbright, and either scarlet or crimson red. I use them interchangeably. I don't discriminate. They both feel and look the same to me the same. If I'm gonna, try and color match it later, then it might not be exactly the same, but I never color match anything in a spot. I usually, if I go back into a tattoo, I blend some things in and I smoothie clean it out. Because when I met Matt Driscoll, Raptor Laser on the Instagram, I was like, dude, how do you get such fucking smooth grays? And he's like, I triple dip, baby. And I was like, oh my God.
Meaning?
Go back into it 3 times.
Oh.
He's like, dude, I'll go back in 2, 3, 4 times.
Do it, heal.
Yeah, and then go back into it. So
which is over several months.
Right, and so when I see something come back, I'll never spot match. I'll be like, how can I make this whole area better? Like today, the sleeve I worked on the outer area down here, the whole lower forearm, and the inner bicep. And then next time we're gonna work on the outer bicep, the elbow, and then the inner bicep again. So I build. It's all about layers. Unless I have to do a single session tattoo, then I try to plan it all out and get it straight. But I always tell everyone that I tattoo, we're probably gonna want to come back into this later.
But when you're starting out, it's mostly single session.
Yeah. I mean, you want to get things as one shot as possible, and then as time goes on, you go back into those pieces and so on and so forth. So yeah, I'm jumping around a lot with what I'm doing, and I've done black and then blue and then red lines and then black again. And that's one thing that I don't live by, going exactly from black to light to white. I listen to what it's telling me. And what I'm using, that foam right there, is Hustle Helper. It's a foaming, numbing soap.
It's got lidocaine.
It's got lidocaine in it. So I put that on there to ease his experience.
This is his first tattoo.
This is his first tattoo, yeah.
So he was very shaky going into it. You're going to get that a lot. First tattoos, adrenaline.
He changed his idea 5 times, you know, He was staying at my house.
Was he 21?
Yeah, he was staying at my house. No, I think 19 or 20, or something.
He's
like
a young kid.
He's a young dude, but he was staying at my house, and the night before, we talked about a butterfly, and then I get to the shop with him the next day, and people are telling me that he wants a tiger. I'm like, he didn't tell me he wanted a tiger. So then
people do that, bro.
So he's like, yeah, I want a tiger. I'm like, fuck yeah. So now I'm getting jazzed up to do a fucking tiger because I love tigers so much. I have a huge one on my back, right? So fucking, we go ahead.
Like, oh,
and I'm like stoked about a tiger, and he's like, yeah, I'm gonna do a butterfly. So as I'm tattooing him, I was like, why the butterfly, man? Why'd you go with the tiger? Right? Like, what happened? And he's like, well, I thought people were gonna make fun of me if I did the butterfly, so I chickened out when I got to the shop, and I said I wanted a tiger. And I was like, oh, okay. And so he had a number of different reasons why he jumped through. It's just a range of emotions. If you've ever been tattooed, you fucking know what it's like. And if you're a nervous human like Jacob is, he's just a nervous dude and he has a hard time making decisions.
And when you have no tattoos, it's a really big deal.
It's a huge big deal. Dude, like, we almost tattooed that moon on his face like this big.
Yeah, like, this was going to be like fucking nuts.
It was going to be huge and go down the whole entire side of his face.
I have so many, I'm just like, yeah, let's do it.
And Donna was like, yeah, let's not do that tonight.
His wife was like, nope.
She was like, I don't think his wife is going to like that, so we decided not to. Good idea. Yeah. I like the way this looks better anyway. Yeah. But yeah, so now we're going through, and I've worked in a lot of my blacks, well, actually all my blacks at this point. And I've worked in some deep blues, like blue concentrates. I've worked in some reds for line work.
You're getting into some...
And I'm getting into some oranges and reds.
Yeah.
So I'm going to jump around a lot, probably, in color choices. It's so funny watching me sped up, because I feel like I wipe so much.
No,
in real life, I don't think I don't.
And tell them about these blue towels you're using.
Oh, hold on 1 second. So we did do some darks in those... we did some mids in the flames. And so, yeah, so I went from the flames to mid blues. So the paper towels I'm using, they're shop towels.
They're like for mechanics.
Yeah, blue shop towels. They're fucking great.
They do absorb a lot more than the white.
They very much do. They're way more than Bounties.
For sure.
They remind me like old school Vivas before Vivas started fucking giving off like dust into the air. So like when you use a Viva paper towel, there'll be particles that break off into the air. Well, when you're spraying green soap or whatever soap onto the skin and wiping the dirty stuff, and the particles are going into the air.
I don't know.
Yeah, that's why I stopped using Viva, because it just felt gross that you're breathing in particles that probably have biological matter.
Yeah.
So I'm playing with my blues a lot. I'm going in, and sometimes I'll go through a whole, a whole spectrum of blue in an area, or a whole color spectrum in an area. Like, I think I'm going through this wing all at once.
So you're doing like a section. You're doing your dark, your mid. Your
light. I typically like when I'm in flow state and when I'm doing things methodically, I will go from black to dark tone to mid tone to light highlight to highlight. So like
on the whole thing at once, or a section? As
in section, I'll go from black, all inclusive, dark blue, all inclusive,
the whole thing,
third blue, second blue, first blue, highlight.
That makes more sense than like doing that in sections where you're rinsing your needle.
Exactly, and it's about efficiency. It's for efficiency's sake. But sometimes I don't know how to do the tattoo, so I stick to where I know. And I know that sounds weird, right? But like, if you have permission at any point in time to take a break and second guess yourself and allow yourself to figure it out, tattooing can be that. Like, you don't ever want to rush a part of it. So now I'm going in on this whole wing. I went through the whole...
Yeah, you did.
And don't know why I didn't do the whole entire tattoo, but it was just telling me this is where you need to go right now. So now I'm in my light highlight blue.
Which is towards the end of your gradient.
Yeah, exactly. And then we do white highlights on top of that light
tattooing
blue.
For the most part, you want to go dark to lights.
Yeah. And like, sometimes I'll go light to dark, because once you open the skin with that light, it's really easy to blend that darks in.
Yeah, once you originally get the skin open, it's going to take ink a lot easier.
A lot easier, and you have to work a lot less hard for it.
And if you keep on, if you get
so I'm going into my fucking white highlights already.
Yeah, you're fucking up that right side.
I don't know why I'm doing it like that. And that's the thing, like, it's just what felt right at the time. And if I can't explain
you might do that same tattoo differently a week later.
The next day. The next tattoo. I could do the same fucking tattoo on his other thigh and attack it differently. Because, you know,
there's no rules to this shit.
There is no rules. You just make it the best you can.
That's why we're all a bunch of fucking pirates.
That's beautiful. You know? And that's what I want to teach to you guys. You know, or open up the eyes. Man, you get to do whatever you want. Like, if we want to get weird and woo-woo for a second, because I love that shit. You're the captain of your fucking life. You know what I'm saying? You decide what life you make. You are the author of every part of your life. So in tattooing, you get to decide where you work, how much you charge, how long you work every day, how many days you work a week, how many days you work a month, a year, how much, you know what I'm saying? Like, if you want to make $100,000 a year but only want to fucking work, 50 days a year, then you divide 100,000 by 50 days and charge that per day. Boom, done. You know what I'm saying? And when you get aligned with that thought process, the right clients will show up. So, you get to do whatever you want here, which is why I get to do whatever I want. The tattoo still comes out sick. When I do multi-session pieces, I tell people, hey man, if this session doesn't look great when it's done, I'm not here for that. I'm here for the finished product. So it might not be awesome right now. Trust me, it's going to look fucking sweet dick. And every time they do, it always does. Mm-hmm. So you get to decide what your life feels like, what your life looks like, how it works, how it operates. A lot of freedom. Yeah, a lot.
Which is what drew me to this for my whole life.
So if you're in an apprenticeship where people are telling you that you have so many rules, question those rules. Figure out a reason why it makes sense. And if it doesn't make sense, maybe you don't need to be there. I've seen people leave a lot of places. I've had people leave my place. If you're not aligned, you're not aligned. But if you are aligned with living life, how you want to live life, that's what we like to do here. You know what I'm saying? That's why he gets to show up, 3 days a week from 3 hours away and bust his ass when he's here and learn his craft. And now as a fucking apprentice, he's already doing pretty decent money-wise. He's surprised with the money he's making.
Yeah.
And
almost 3 months in, and I'm like, hey, this is cool.
And so that's nice. So what I'm doing now is I'm going in with a brighter red, like a scarlet or crimson red, and I'm putting that
on those blues.
On the blues, yeah, no. On the fire and the blues.
You're making it glowy?
Yeah. Not as much glowy as atmospheric light.
That's what I mean. That's what I meant. Like the fires that atmospheric light onto the wings.
Absolutely. The way the pink light is shining on us.
I fucking love atmospheric light. Is that what it's called?
Yeah.
I love that.
Atmospheric lighting is cool.
It changes everything.
Right. And so like if you have a glow over here and now you have that light source glowing blue, but you have a red atmospheric light on the right side of the piece, you fucking put that red line like on the fucking Pokeball today on Anthony's arm, on his elbow, dude. I did blue light coming from the blue light. I shined that everywhere. And then there was an area where there was like a red blast. And so on the side of the Pokeball, I put the red blast there. Yeah. But like there was blue light shining from here onto the rocks. So
you're reflecting that color light onto the other surface of something else.
Atmospheric lighting is it's the reflected light. If the green grass,
it's so cool.
If the green grass is actually just from the sun shining on somebody's chin, that happens. So right now we're getting into oranges on Jacob. And so I'm just working through my spectrum here. Looks like the butterfly is pretty close to done. If anything, I'm going to go back and do a little extra highlighting here and there, or glow or atmospheric, the atmospheric type stuff. And so there's still a flame at the bottom left of the butterfly that I haven't done yet. And I had no idea how to color that one in yet. So I left it there for a while. I didn't even know if I wanted that there, and then as I was speedlining, I decided to throw it in there.
That was you hitting him with holy water, which is a lidocaine spray.
So holy water is a lidocaine spray. Yeah. Oh, there's my prosthetic. But yeah, holy water is a lidocaine spray that I use during breaks as well. It's nice. It gives them a little comfort,
A little relief,
especially
for someone on their first tattoo.
Yeah, and when the skin is already open, using lidocaine products like holy water, like the TKTX spray that you found. There's a couple other products that can help that a lot. And I think I'm going back. Yeah, so I'm going back in with some reds, and so I toy with the contrast as I'm working. Sometimes I'm like, man, it could be darker over here, and so I just jump in and do that. And because the skin's already open and it's easier to tattoo open skin, you go over there with that darker tone, and you like dust it in instead of, I like to really saturate, but if it's like layering like that, I'll start dusting.
If it's already open and you just go in like you're saturating brand new unbroken skin, you're gonna fuck them up. Like it takes it so much easier. If it's open, you just dust it in like
absolutely, yeah.
If you're just fucking packing it in to open skin, you're gonna chew them the fuck up.
And so now I'm doing some white highlights. Yeah.
A lot.
Me too. So I've done some white highlights even before I went to the flame in the bottom, because you see the flame in the bottom left that I'm talking about?
Yeah, I didn't even touch it.
Yeah, haven't figured it out yet. And I did some white highlights, and I think I'm doing some glow now. I think this is just like loose glow around the fire. Yeah, it is. Yeah. So yeah, I do some of that, and then I decide at some point that I want to do a drop shadow. So I do that in there after a while.
Yeah.
But yeah, you can just see like...
You like drop shadows.
I do.
You do.
I do. They create dimension. They make things float.
Drop shadows are like you just said, makes it float like a little shadow, usually down and to the right a little bit.
I usually do go down to the right, huh?
I
don't mean to. It just happens that way.
Just how it is.
Yeah, but drop shadows are cool. I discovered them a lot in graffiti when I was studying graffiti years ago. There's a lot of drop shadowing in graffiti, a lot of force fields, the glow stuff, a lot of atmospheric lighting. I learned way more about atmospheric lighting when I was on Ink Master. Me and Josh Hibbard would sit up and drink red wine and go down to the tattoo room and just discuss tattooing. And when he explained to me atmospheric lighting on the piece that he was helping me figure out, I was like, oh, and then made me understand how to incorporate atmospheric lighting, because I just thought it was a double glow, right? Like, oh, you have the light source here, and then you just put this other arbitrary light source here. But it doesn't have to be an arbitrary light source. It can be a reasonable light source. And when you find reason behind everything, it makes it easier to build it. Because, this is a light source, and because of this light source...
You're not just copying it, you understand it.
Right, and because of this light source, it's shining onto the green grass, that's reflecting back onto the chin. Yeah. Back to that again,
What you're popping in the white now?
I've done white a number of times. Oh, so now I'm doing the white lining highlights.
14 round?
Yeah. Yeah, 14 round lining.
Which, I guess it's just because of how he tattoos, and he taught me, that's what I use when I'm doing white shit at the end also, is 14 round.
Well, yeah, and I want you to do things the way I do things, and then when you figure out how to do things a better way for you, do that. That's how I like to teach. It makes it simple. And he's already changing up how he fucking saturates. And if it works, it works.
Everybody's different.
Absolutely, everybody's different, and that's the cool thing about this. Like, I'm fucking throwing all these white highlights, and I'm basically finishing the shit out of this tattoo.
And the flames aren't done yet.
But those little flames at the bottom aren't done yet.
You're like, fuck, I wish I didn't do those.
Yeah, kind of. At that point, I was like, man, I still don't even know how to do these. And then by the time I get to them, I know exactly what I'm doing, because it just happens. You know what I'm saying? Mm-hmm. And I'm having people drop in and throw holy water on them.
I was trying to figure out who the fuck that was.
Probably Jaden, my son.
No, he had a sleeve.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
Could have been Rich.
Yeah, it's probably Rich. You guys know Rich.
Rich is my business partner. We own the shop together. fun little backstory. When I had a broken leg and I still have my leg, I was staying at Rich's house because I was traveling through the country, and I was on his couch one time and we were doing bong rips, and he was like, "Want to open a shop?" And I was like, "Yeah, I want to open a shop." And that's how we opened Red Ink.
Yeah.
So
He came to you with it?
we were sitting on his couch chilling. He just came. And the funny thing is, a couple days earlier, we're driving over the bridge, and I love this. This is my hometown. Driving over the bridge, and I'm like, "Donna, should we open a shop here?" And she's like, "No." And then fucking 2 days later, Rich is like, "You want to open a shop?" And I'm like, "Fuck yeah, I want to open a shop." I'm like, "Donna?" She's like, "Yeah."
Radinkflorida.com.
Yep, radinkflorida.com.
That's the shop now.
Absolutely. We've been open 2 years.
2 years?
Almost, yeah.
Just about 2 years?
It's been a ride. We've had a lot of success. We've had many failures throughout the success, and that's one of the things that I'm learning about owning the studio. We lost an artist recently. And we've lost a number of artists recently for different reasons. Some out of our control, some personality differences. And it's been really hard to deal with all of it. But as I've learned to deal with all of it, it's really cool to see how much you grow and learn through it. And tattooing is very much like owning a business where you have these mini failures, these major successes, major failures, mini successes.
Kind of like life.
Yeah, exactly. It's just fucking. It can be annoying if you want it to be annoying, but if you accept that, it can be dope. And it's just difficult at times, then yeah, that's what it is. So one of the things I love about the way I tattooed this, I jumped around a lot. I didn't have any rhyme or reason how I did anything. I would do black and then color and then back to black. I've done reds and then oranges and then yellows and then whites and then back to reds and oranges and yellows and probably drop some black around there. So like, there really is no rhyme or reason. I'm deciding what happens as it goes.
You haven't done a drop shadow.
And I haven't done the drop shadow yet, no.
So he's about to do a drop shadow.
And I think the reason why I did the drop shadow is because I felt like it was very heavy with all the orange glowing stuff. And I felt like because of all that heavy orange glowing, we needed to have some sort of balanced drop shadow nature. And because there was so much lighting with the orange, I wanted it to have some shadowing effects. And it just looked a bit unfinished and like it felt wrong. It didn't felt right.
Yeah. Listen to your gut.
Yeah. And so when, I finally figured it out, I think I drew the black drop shadow on with a dry needle.
Okay.
I do a lot of that.
What he's talking about is he has the needle not running, he dips it in ink and then just traces with it, like draws with it.
Yeah, it's like a calligraphy pen where you dip the tip in the ink, just dip the needle in the ink and just
With the machine.
run it across on the cartridge. Yeah, just take the cartridge and run it across the skin. Sometimes I'll take a cartridge that's not in the machine and I'll dip it and I'll do like that. I did that last night on George a little bit. I was trying to figure something out, so because I didn't want to waste a Sharpie, so I sketched something on him.
Yeah,
and
if you got open skin and you use a Sharpie, you don't want to use a Sharpie on something
you
else.
throw it away.
Throw that bitch away.
And depending on where you're from, sometimes Sharpies are 100% single use.
Even if you have no broken skin, some people just draw them and throw them away.
Yep. So like I'm cleaning the tattoo up and I'm looking at it.
Holy water.
Holy water, yep. And wrap it up under holy water. And so...
And we'll get to the drop shadow, I suppose.
Oh no. I don't think we have the drop shadow in the video.
We didn't film the drop shadow, but there is one.
There is one.
In this picture right here, see?
Yeah, right. So yeah,
We did a drop shadow.
I did do a drop shadow. We're gonna drop the picture and you're probably already looking at the picture. So here we are. Thanks for watching this long, if you've watched this long.
Thanks. Appreciate you.
If you have any feedback, if you have any questions, if you liked anything, if you hated anything,
Shove it up your ass.
let us know in the comments or the private messages. But yeah, so thanks for tuning in.
Episode 7 coming soon, and we're also going to be doing a lot of little segments about like how to pull a line, how to pack a fucking, how to saturate color, how to do just little shorty 240 clips.
Yep. So we're definitely moving in a positive direction.
We're getting our rhythm. This is episode 7, you sons of bitches. 6.
And I don't know why he's so aggressive right now.
Fucking angry.
I don't know why he's so
Because you're
angry.
so sexy. We're gonna make out now.
Guys, thank you so much for tuning in. It's after midnight, and we both had a long day.
Neither one of us are drinking.
Not at all.
Sober as a judge.
But it's fun for us to do this, so thanks for letting us do this. Thanks for hanging out. And
See you guys soon.
sorry it ended so oddly and abruptly, but we're learning.
That's the way she goes, bud. Hey,
That's it.
there's no rules to this shit.
No rules.
You know?
Just right. Outback Steakhouse.
No rules.
Just right.
That's right, bud.
As always, if you like what we're doing, like, share, subscribe, and like I said, let us know about feedback. Anything you like, didn't like, would like to see more of. And thank you very much for being here with us.
Thanks,
See you next
guys.
time.
Good friends, good food, good people. Heineken.